Welcome to a presentation entitled Explaining Organic Purchase Reasoning by Interest in Local Production and Concerns about the Environment in Biotechnology. This presentation is by Gwendolyn Hustvedt and John Bernard. The purchase of organic products is one of several ways that consumers can express their support for sustainable agriculture. For organic products, the support for sustainable agriculture is balanced with many perceived benefits provided by the consumption of the organic products, including the avoidance of added hormones, pesticides, and genetically modified organisms. However, organic products remain a very important way that consumers can feel related to sustainable agriculture. Examining the motivations and attitudes related with organic purchases can provide a better understanding of the meaning of sustainable agriculture in the lives of consumers. Many studies have looked at consumer interest in organic products since the National Organic Program in the U.S. was established in 2002. Discussions of this literature can be found in a number of places. Studies examining consumer interest in local purchases have also increased recently. Many of these efforts look at willingness to pay for local products, such as Patterson et al. And Darby et al., which have found that in some cases consumers are willing to pay more for locally produced products. There is a literature as well that looks at GM, especially comparing GM and non-GM foods. Lusk et al. And Bernard Zhang Gifford are examples. And so they have found that Bernard Zhang and Gifford, for example, found that a large part of the willingness to pay for organic was an interest in avoiding GM ingredients. Finally, there have been some works comparing organic, non-GM, and local. Luerio-Hein, 2002, looked at consumer value for three attributes: organic, GMO-free, and Colorado grown, or locally grown. They found the highest percentage willingness to pay for a premium for local. Mbadi et al. Examined consumer interest and willingness to pay for organic, pesticide-free, non-GM, better flavor, and locally grown processed foods, and consumers were willing to pay a large premium for pesticide-free, non-GM, and organic versions. Now, in terms of fiber markets, Hustvedt and Bernard, 2008, also found that consumers were interested in paying a premium for all three aspects. Overall, little of the literature has focused on fiber products, and almost none have been done on local fiber products, leaving this an important avenue for further investigation. This study used a survey that was conducted in conjunction with an experimental auction designed to elicit willingness to pay for local fiber products. 69 student subjects from a large southern university were recruited from large classes with diverse student enrollments to participate in the sessions. Students were considered an appropriate subject pool as they represent the next generation of consumers, and their interest in organic fiber products will be an important part of the success of the market for these products. In the final stage of each experimental sessions, the subjects were asked to fill out a post-experiment questionnaire. Questions consisted of subjects' attitudes toward organic agriculture, organic cotton and genetic modification, their interest in buying locally, and the impact of apparel production on the environment. The questionnaire also included demographic questions, specifically gender, age, race, and state of residence. 3 variables were developed using 6 of the questions from the questionnaires. That focused basically on environmental impact of apparel production, locally produced products, and genetic modification. And so you can see here that each of these variables were created from 2 questions. All of them have a Cronbach's alpha, which is greater than 0.6, indicating that they have good internal reliability. The 3 variables created for this study were used to split the sample into separate groups based on high or low levels of attitudes towards the 3 issues measured in the variables. The median attitude for local was the lowest at 4.0, while the median for eco was the highest with genetic at 5.0, with genetic in between at 4.5. So, for example, local low group was created by grouping all the participants who rated their agreement with local variables at the median of 4 or below on a scale from 1 to 7. While including the median in the low group may reduce the explanatory power of the analysis, for the purposes of this exploratory study, this produced a local high group that was entirely above the median, for example, with rating of 4.5 or above on local variables. Likewise, for each of the other 2 variables, low and high groups were created. Now, each of the 3 variables used to split the sample are somewhat interrelated. First of all, at least 59.4% of the students had strong feelings about one of the topics, but only 10.1% had strong feelings about all 3. 9 students, or 13%, had strong feelings only about the environmental impact of apparel production. The frequency of group membership suggests that while it is common to feel strongly about the environment or the environment and buying local, it is less common to feel strongly about genetic modification and another issue. Now we can examine each of these variables along with some other questions from the questionnaire about organic cotton purchases or organic agriculture. The local high group was significantly higher in terms of both an organic attitude question. This suggests a positive understanding of the contributions of organic agriculture to the local economic sustainability. Members of the two eco-groups, low and high, were not significantly different for the organic contribution to the environment question, which reminds us that this variable of environmental concern is about the environmental impact of apparel, not the environmental impact of organic. The eco-high group did have significantly better attitudes towards organic cotton purchases. Both the eco-high and the local high group were significantly higher than their corresponding low groups on both local and eco, would suggest the degree of interrelatedness between these two variables. This interrelatedness is not seen when looking at the genetic high group. The genetic high group was significantly more in agreement that organic agriculture is good for the environment compared with the genetic low. But unlike the eco-high and local high groups, the genetic high group was exactly the same as the genetic low group on the idea that buying organic apparel was good. Basically, genetic as a variable does not overlap in terms of what the high group agrees with compared with the other two variables, except for agreement that organic agriculture is good for the environment. The fact that concern over genetic modification plays no apparent role in attitude towards the purchase of organic cotton products suggested that this specific consumption behavior merited further examination. So this examination was conducted looking at the importance of specific outcomes related to the purchase of organic apparel products. The members of all three high groups agree about the importance of most of the presented outcomes of their organic purchase. Only one outcome was different for different group members across all three variables. All of the participants felt strongly about improving their health or the health of their family, regardless of membership in any high or low group. This suggests that while it may be tempting to market sustainable products based on possible health-related attributes, this issue has such a broad appeal that it will not create market differentiation. The troubling thing about this lack of differentiation on this particular outcome is that an improvement in health is the one outcome that is not likely to result from the purchase of organic cotton apparel products. In fact, it is very difficult to distinguish an organic cotton product on the basis of physical attributes, since conventional cotton is cleansed of any possible pesticide contamination during processing. Finally, the results show that it is important to explore the issues of buying local, environmental impact, and genetic modification as separate constructs that may overlap in many ways, but represent distinct concerns for consumers. While there are significant differences between the low and high groups in the importance of almost all the outcomes, there were a couple of cases where splitting the sample on one variable produced differences not seen when split by the other two variables. In the first case, members of eco and local low felt that there was significantly less importance in the outcome of peace of mind than eco or local high. The feelings of the low and high groups for genetic were not different on this topic. This is surprising given that peace of mind would seem to be an important motivation for consumers concerned about genetic modification. Concern about genetic modification is another one that differentiates the sample on a couple of outcomes that other variables did not differentiate. As could be expected, a reduction in the use of genetic modification is significantly more important to the members of the genetic high, but they value purchasing a quality product significantly more as well. This suggests that understanding their definition of quality may be important. Is there a belief that genetically modified products are lower quality among people who are concerned about genetic modification? Is it possible that the strong feelings that members of genetic high have about purchasing a quality product may explain why they were not more likely than genetic low members to feel that purchasing organic cotton was good? This group may have concerns about the quality of organic cotton apparel products. Finally, members of local high group did not feel significantly stronger about the outcomes related to support of pro-environmental companies, which may not be surprising given that very few pro-environmental companies present themselves as local companies. The lack of difference for support of organic farming between members of local high and local low present the possibility that local farms are not the farms that come to mind when participants think of organic farming. Overall, the results suggest that while concern about genetic modification or interest in buying local may be an element of a larger environmental concern, they are important to differentiate consumers to different consumers in different ways. Participants concerned about genetic modification were not more likely to consider purchasing an organic product. They did not more highly value buying local, and they placed more importance on purchasing a quality product. Purchasing an organic product such as organic cotton apparel helps consumers meet a variety of their needs, but the importance of these outcomes does vary based